was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and having consulted with both UCLA, Stanford, and we decided the genie was out of the bottle, and so the appropriate treatment was radiation. And I was treated with high-dose radiation, which cured the prostate cancer, but over a period of time, it caused a blockage of the urethra. And so there were several workarounds to that, none of which were really too pleasant. Somewhere along the line, I acquired a second belly button for a suprapubic catheter, and after a while that became kind of uncomfortable and unworkable. It wasn't a case of steadily going downhill, it's just I went downhill quite suddenly, and then I stayed steady state downhill. Where it really got to be a problem, and that was probably, I think it was before the suprapubic. Like I said, in a period of 8 nights, I was in the ER 5 times. And they says, one more time in here and you get a brass plaque with your name on it down on exam room number 8. And when I would go in, they'd say, what's your pain level? 0 to 10. I says, it's at least an 11. And they could hear me. I mean, I've never been anywhere near a delivery room when a woman is having a baby, but I understand that's almost as severe and painful as what I was experiencing those nights. And I figured at that point in time it was appropriate for me to go elsewhere, and I went back to UCLA, where they said, there's nothing that we can do for you here. However, we had somebody that trained here about 15 years ago. He is now at UC Irvine, and to our recollection, he is now one of 8 people in the United States that does what he does, and that turned out to be Dr. Gelman at UC Irvine. And that led me down the Santa Ana Freeway to meet with him. I'm grateful for the urologist at UCLA that said, there is absolutely nothing that we can do for you here. However, there is this Dr. Gelman down at Irvine. But a very, very pleasant and most unusual experience happened before that. About a week before I went down to see him, on a Sunday evening, I got a phone call at home, and this is Dr. Gelman. I understand that yeah, you're coming in to see me later on this week. I don't know anything about you. Tell me about it. Tell me why you're coming. And so we had about a 20 or 30-minute conversation, and I said, this is a doctor that called you at home? He's interested in you. I said, this doesn't happen in the medical world anymore. 50 years ago maybe, but not today. And so that was my introduction to Dr. Gelman. Well, he gave me a feeling of confidence even before I met him, when he called me at home. And he's concerned. He really wants to know about me. He's not one of these doctors that you walk into his office and he walks into the exam room and says, okay, fellow, why are you here? And I'm sure that somewhere along the line, most of us have had that experience somewhere in the medical community. And so I had some degree of confidence with Dr. Gelman with that initial phone call before I ever met the man. And at every step, that level of confidence increased. When he put the x-ray up on the light board where I could look at it, This is the first time anyone that had ever really done that. But he explained it. He pointed out to me exactly where the problem was. He told me the nature of the problem. He told me the problem that he would have as a surgeon. But he was upfront and honest. But he said, it's worth my consulting with the colleagues. I said, this man does not have an ego all by himself. He's willing to try to find the best he can. And in the process, every step of the way, it was just a confidence building type of thing. And as I have, I guess, perhaps told him in subsequent conversation over the years, that he is a real hero in my eyes. And you don't give that kind of accolade to some ordinary man on the street or some ordinary doctor. You kind of have to earn that accolade. He says, the best I could even suggest is a 50-50% probability. And I said, I'll take it. And from there, we went into the OR. He put things together, and that was a little over 8 years ago. And while I've had some minor problems since then, I've had 8 years of, thank heavens for Dr. Gilman.